Hello, hello, everybody. I apologize for being late, but I'm so glad that you guys waited for me, and thank you for taking the time to just let everyone know that I was going to be a little late. Okay, I had a meeting with my boss, and they went a little late, so such is life. Thank you guys for your patience. How is everybody doing? We made it to the last office hour. That's just incredible. 8 weeks you guys have been here. Every day, every day. Grace, Innocent, Ifidelopo, Ariel, Adarsh. Excellent. Noachukyu, Needing, Tutu, Abhishek, Yasir. Dani is here again. Bienzika. Yes, I'm so glad. You guys should definitely give you a pat on the back, a little pat on the back. So, how is everyone feeling about our last day? Tolu's here from Nigeria. Welcome, welcome. Okay, well, we're here. We have our last day going. What are you guys interested in looking at today? I see that one of you has already put text mining into the chat. We can definitely look at that. What else are you interested in seeing today? Last questions about the course, things like that. Stefan is also here. I love it. I love it. I want to do simply automate an Excel sheet using Python. That's perfect. Things like spatial data analysis and deep learning, that's more of a Unit 2 issue. So I think I'm going to save those for when you guys take Unit 2. But I would love to hear a little bit about maybe automating, sure, with Excel. I love that idea. Ariel, are there certain things that you want to do? My advice for those of you who are innocent wants to know if I have any recommendations for Unit 2. Definitely. Before you start Unit 2, I would just maybe take some time not to really learn new things in in like an extreme kind of way, but rather maybe just get used to some of the vocabulary. And let's see how we can do that. Let me change my screen for a second. And I'm going to put up a few sites that I think would be helpful. The first is towards data science. This is a great blog if you're interested in just sort of getting an idea of what's out there. Some of this stuff, you don't need to understand it all, but just getting an idea of what happens. I see Florine and DeGeffa are here. So good to see you guys. Glad you could join us for our last office hour. Another one that's pretty good is KD Nuggets. There are often some good soft data science here. And then let's see here. Another great source is Medium. Medium is like a general interest site, but they have lots of data science stuff on there. Shahid is also here. Yanav is also here. So good to see you guys. Glad you make it. So those would be some of my recommendations. And then also, yeah, those are the ones that I would recommend, I'd say. So start with those, maybe do some reading on data science, and then you can begin to think about how you want to, how, excuse me, how you want to work, or rather, getting that vocabulary will be a big help because then the vocabulary won't seem so strange to you when you first listen to it. So that would be my recommendation. Okay, now I promised some text mining. So let's think a little bit about text mining for a second. So I'm going to do text mining, and then I'm going to do automation of an Excel sheet. So first, let's talk about text mining. The idea of text mining is that you have data that's in the form of text, and then what you want to do is you want to figure out a way to derive useful information from that text. So let's do an example here. Let me pull up a notebook. Give me 1 second, everyone. I just want to pull up a notebook that's not on your not on your servers, but I think it would be super great to see. Give me 1 second. Let me think about where I want to find that data. It's going to be in my documents folder. It's going to be in GitHub, and then it's going to be in my capstone. All right, and then I'm going to do conda deactivate. If you're not seeing anything, that's fine. I'm just typing in a few things here so that I can launch a notebook for you guys. Okay, beautiful. Do you guys know the website called Indeed.com? Indeed.com is a website, and it's fairly prevalent in the United States, but it is a site you would go to if you're looking for a job. And so, for example, if I look for data science jobs in the state of Arizona, which is in the southwest of the US, I get a bunch of different companies and a bunch of different job descriptions. But let's say what I want to do is I want to look at all of the jobs in data science across the country, and I want to derive some interesting information from them. How can I do that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new notebook. Let's see here. I'm going to open up a new notebook. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is open up this notebook in a new window. Let me just make sure I have the right notebook, guys. That's not the one I want. I want this one. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what am I going to do here? I have a bunch of data that I scraped from that website, And so the first thing I'm going to do is going to go import pandas as PD. I'm also going to import NumPy as NP, and I'm going to stick with that for now. And then the next thing that I was thinking I would do is I have the data, and I want to load it into my memory. I have it here in the DS folder, and I have a bunch of different files. So I'm going to use a package called import glob, and I'll show you what glob does. So the jobs have already been scraped from the website. I had another colleague do that. In fact, this is what we were working on during the hackathon yesterday, if you guys remember yesterday's office hours. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I have a bunch of files here, and each of these files has a lot of data in it with all of the information. And I want to get all of that data into one place. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pattern, and that pattern is going to be a string. And it's going to be ds/star.json. And so what I'm saying is look for every file that has the format is in the DS folder and ends with .json. And then I'll use glob, and I'll say the pattern here. Oh, I got a type error. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to my top folder. So actually, I think it's glob.glob. Okay. And if I look at files, I'm going to have a list. And that list is going to be full of, oh, I forgot the full thing here, hackathon slash, there we go. So these are all the JSON files I have. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to load all of these JSON files into um, a data frame. So what I'm going to do is now that I have my files, I'll go for file in files. I'll use a for loop. And I'm actually going to create an if-else statement because I know that some of these files are actually empty because the scraper isn't perfect. So the first thing is I'll say if the file is empty, if its size is 0, just skip over it. And then I'll do otherwise. Otherwise, I'll say open the file. So with open file as f, and I know there are going to be lines in it. So lines equals, I need to do another thing to read it. So I'm going to import another package, import AST. That'll help me read this file as a JSON object. And I will do something called AST literal, oh wait, AST literal eval. f for the file dot read. And then I'll go for line in lines, or rather, I think I could actually do this as I could do this as some sort of, well, let's not actually worry about it. I'll create an empty list here. So I'll call all JDs will equal an empty list. And then I'll create a all JDs append, and I'll ask it to append a list, which will be job description for job in lines. Or rather, this shouldn't be append, it should be extend, because I want to make it all one list. Let's see if this works. So let's not worry too much about this code in and of itself. This will take a second to run because we're importing everything. Okay, and if I look at all JDs, and I just look at the first one, I'll see that here I have a full summary. This is all the job. So I have this list that's full of the job descriptions. And what I'll do now is I want to put this into a data frame. So I'll go df equals pd dot data frame, and I will then have a dictionary inside it, and I'll call it description, and that'll be the name of the column. And then the data in that column will be all JDs. So if I look at df head, now I have a one column data frame. Now here's the question. I want to know whether these jobs are more interested in people that know Python or more interested in people that know another programming language, like let's say Java. So are people more interested in Python, data scientists that know Python, or data scientists that know Java? So we're going to do some text processing, or rather, excuse me, some text mining. What do you guys think would be a strategy to do this? We could do regex. That might be a lot, though. Adarsh says regex. Regex is a possibility. Beautiful soup. Beautiful soup is generally for HTML. In this case, we don't have HTML, so I don't know how necessary that is. What I was thinking is that Python has, or rather pandas, has some tools that we could use. In fact, one of the things it has is a string.contains. So if, for example, I wanted to create a new column here, and I would create a new column on my data frame, and what I would say is every time Python appears in your, every time Python appears, I want you to put a 1 in this column. So I could do something like df Python equals, I think there's one thing I want to do first. Hold on. I have df, and then I'm going to go df dot df description. Let's make these all lowercase first. I want to make sure there's no confusion between uppercase and lowercase letters. So I'm going to go df description equals df description.str.lower. I wonder if I can do it this way. Let's see if it'll let me do this. This looks like it would not work. Oh, wait, it did. So if I df description dot head, okay, now everything is lowercase, so that's good. Now I'll go df Python equals df dot description dot str for string contains Python. And then I'll put as type int. And if I look at the head of my data frame now, my new data frame, I'm going to have, there we go. I have zeros and ones depending on whether the word Python appears. Dani says it's probably because data science uses much of Python. We might also need to do a little bit of cleaning too. That's a really good point, Navdeep. In this case, we're kind of doing a quick version, so not as important. So let's do it again. Let's do Java, except we won't look for Python. This time we'll look for Java. And let's do one more. Let's look at df. We'll call this R. And we'll copy and paste the same thing. But I am going to change the string. It's not going to be R. I'm going to put a space on either side of it. So it has to be R as a single word. Let's see if that works. All right. So now if I look at my data frame, it's going to have 4 columns total, the description, and then whether Java, R, or Python appear. Now I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to import one last thing. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And I'm going to say df drop. I'm not interested in the description, so I'll go df drop description axis 1 for column, and I'll say plot kind bar h. Oh, no, wait, I have to think about this one more second. I have drop, and then I'm going to do sum axis 0. And so now I sum those three columns. And in fact, I could even plot this. Kind equals bar h. And I can see that Python is way more popular than both Java and R. Where almost 175,000 of the jobs want Python, whereas in R and Java, it's both around 50,000. So that is an example of how particular data would look. The last thing I'm going to do, so if I were talking to a data scientist and they were going, which language should I use, Python or R, I would say you might want to start with Python. And then I'll do one last thing. I'm going to take my data frame. So I'm going to go, let's see here, df, and I'm going to do iloc. So for integer location, I'm going to take the first 100 columns, excuse me, the first 100 rows, and then I'll take the columns that we're interested in, R, Java, and Python, and I'm going to save them to CSV. So I'm going to save them as a CSV file. I'll add a date string, and then I'll say program lang for languages.csv, and then I'll say index equals false. I don't want the index included in it. And I will save it. And if I look at my folder here, I should see a CSV file, which if I open, well, it looks like a CSV file. I have 3 columns in it. Now give me 1 second. I'm going to just change my screen share. This is going to take 1 minute. It's going to be black, don't worry. Nobody panic. It's going to be black for just 1 second. I'll be right back, I promise. Let me add my desktop, or rather my screen. Where is this? Media source, image display capture. Okay. Woo! This is pretty wild. Don't worry, guys. It's supposed to look like this. Let me do this a little bit more. Almost got it. Almost got it. This is pretty trippy. All right, there we go. So now we're looking at my screen, everyone. And I'm going to change. I'm going to just make things a little bit easier for you guys to watch. Apologize for this. It did a while loop. That's absolutely right. It did a while loop. Oh my goodness, that's funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Finder, And I'm going to go to the same folder that we were looking at. And I'm going to open the CSV file. Where's that CSV file? Ah, here. I'm going to open this CSV file in Excel. And I'll zoom in so everyone can see it. So this is a file that's in Excel. And just to make things clear, I'm going to do save as. I'm going to do save as an Excel workbook. So I have an Excel file in my folder here. Let me make a new. All right, so everyone sees I have this Excel file in my folder. Hold on, I'm going to do another for loop. Whoa! Okay, back to normal. Oh, Michael, you're here. Glad you could make it. Arthur makes a good point about the text. You know, maybe some people say you need R, but Python is even better, or both either R or Python. So this is a very rudimentary analysis. Okay, so let's look at automation. Now, if I have this Excel file in my in this folder, how can I turn it into a data frame? How can I turn an Excel file into a data frame? What do you guys think? Arthur says maybe read Excel. Well, let's try it. So I'll call this df2 equals pd, and I'll type in read underscore e, and I'll do the tab key. And in fact, read Excel is something that we can use. And then I'll just make sure I have the file name correct. It's program language XL blah, blah, blah. Okay. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, I got a little lost. There we go. So I read this into, I need to import something. Hold on, let's see what this is. Okay, I have to install something. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see how this works. It says install XLRD. What does that mean? I'm going to Google it. Okay, here I need to install XLRD. So let me just quickly install that. This will just take a second. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll go, let's see here, let's see if I can import it. Import XLRD. Hold on, let me restart this. Kernel, restart and clear output. I see your question, Tutu. I'll be sure to get it. That's fine. I'm not so worried about that. Do it this way. And then let's see if I can read this now. No, module not found error. Let me see here. I'm going to do the following. I'll go, I just need to restart my kernel again. This is, of course, the best part of being a data scientist is installing packages. Not working. Well, let's do the following here. Let's just say that you can use read Excel, but I don't want to bore you guys with me installing packages all day. So let's just say it's actually read CSV. And keep in mind that once you do the proper installs, you'll be able to do the same thing. So I'll do df2 equals read CSV. And then the next thing that I want to do is df2 head, just so I get a good idea of it. Okay. And then I want to do df2 sum axis equals 1. Oh, wait, axis equals 0. And let's say that what I want to do after that is I want to turn this into a data frame. So I can go to frame. So let's see here. I'm going to do rename first. Frequency. There we go. And then finally, what I'll do is df2 to CSV. And actually, I'm going to call it something like this. I'm going to go new title equals. So we'll have actually, we'll call this file name equals this, equals the name of the file. File name. And then the new title is going to equal file name. And I'll take the first, let's see here, the first 10 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'll go file name to 10 plus analysis CSV. And then the new title, I'll go to new title. Excuse me. Yes, that's correct. All right, let's see if that works. All right, it does work. And I'll go back to home. And if I look at, analysis, I need 1 to 11. Hold on. I'll do 1 to 11. And here's the analysis I have. Beautiful. And so then what I can do is I can turn this into a function. So I'll say define do analysis. And it'll take an argument called file name. and it will do everything that we have said here. So it'll run the analysis, it'll do those summing ups, it will turn it into a data frame, and then it'll save it as a CSV file under a different name. And so what I have now here is an automation tool. So let's say that this were a notebook and I had to do this automation. All I would need to do is type in do analysis, and then I would put in the name of the file that I needed to analyze. In this case, we'll do program language. And I would run it, and on my computer, what would appear is my analysis right here. And if I had to deal specifically with an Excel file, well, I would just turn read CSV to read Excel. And in fact, we could do it both ways. We could do if file name, because let's think about this for a second. If I have my file name and it equals this, it equals program.csv, that means that if I look at the last 3 characters, I get CSV, or 4 characters, I get .csv. So what I could say is if file name minus 4 colon to the end equals double equals .csv, and then it would read it as a CSV file. But I could do if file name minus 5 equals .xl, what is it again? XL SX, SXL SX, I would go df2 equals PD read Excel file name. And so regardless of the tool, regardless of the file that I passed it, it would read it into a data frame and it would conduct the analysis. So it wouldn't matter if my colleague gave me a CSV file or an Excel file, either would work. So that is how I would deal with doing automation on my using Python. And if you're interested, there's a great, if you want to do more things like, I want to do this from the command line using terminal, I would recommend looking at a website called Data Carpentry. Or what is it? Wait, is it Data Carpentry or Software Carpentry? Excuse me. Carpentry, let's see here. Software Carpentry Python, that's the one I want. Let me just find this here. I will find it, I promise. Here we go. Programming with Python. And this is a great free course that you guys can use. And if you go to the last lesson, it tells you how you can do this all from the command line. And Ariel wants to use input, so let's use input. I'll call this input. Oh, I don't want to use input actually because it will clash with a current Python object. So I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. Good, good, good. So that's how I would do this particular this particular automation. And once you think about automating things with Python, just doing something simple like this, you'll think of all sorts of other complicated ways that you can do this. So I really recommend you guys taking a look. And then one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my notebook here. I'm going to download it as a Python notebook. And I'll go to here we go, the video links for our course. I will open hold on, I gotta scroll, oh no, not the video links, video downloads. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom, open them on Google Drive. I'll upload it here. And if I refresh this, you guys will be able to access it on the Downloads tab. So now you're all set. And Michael is looking for the WhatsApp link, so definitely feel free to, yes, thank you for sharing it, Bienzika. And that is about it. Before I forget, I want to do one thing. If people are interested in connecting with me on LinkedIn, you can always find me by searching for NC Goodbody. The one thing that I ask is please include a message with your connection request. Otherwise, I won't know who you are. I'll think you're just some crazy person stalking me online. But if you can say, I was a student in the World Quant course, I'd love to connect, that way I'll be able to connect. And actually, NC Goodbody is also my name on GitHub and on Twitter. So it should be easy to find me. And it would be great to hear about all the projects you're doing. Stay in touch as we go through Unit 2. And yes, so if you're interested, that's where you can find me. All right, Ariel, thank you. Yanev, yes, I do have your email, but I do have to, I'm in the middle of a conference, so we haven't been able to address all the emails as quickly as everyone would like. So please hold tight, and we will get to every email that's been sent to the DS module email address. Okay. Well, you know what, guys? I feel like we have done it. We made it. We made it to the end. of our last office hour for DS1. How do you guys feel? Tolu's interested in the Data Incubator Fellowship. I think that the best way would be for you to go online and do your research there because World Quant University and the Data Fellowship, two completely separate things. So it's really not appropriate for me to discuss it here. And if people want to stay in contact, I'm sure you can use the WhatsApp groups. You can use the forum. I'll be keeping an eye on everything. And for those of you that are continuing on to Unit 2, I will see you guys there. And let me say one last thing. It takes a lot of work if you're already in school or you're already doing a job to take the time for 8 weeks to sit down and go through all of this material. And been a lot of a time commitment. I know it's been a lot of work for you guys, and I just wanted to recognize that you guys made that choice to learn something new, and you've succeeded in it, and you should really give yourselves some credit and some congratulations for having done it. And for me, you know, my job is not really being a teacher telling you what to do. It's rather watching you, guiding you, seeing how you grow and learn, and taking all of those experiences and putting them together and helping you reach your potential. And it's been wonderful for me over the last 8 weeks to see everyone reaching that potential and doing that work and taking these data science skills. And so I hope that you take that momentum and you take that excitement and you go through Unit 2 and keep learning data science because adding these skills to your own portfolio will be great whether you want to stay in your current job, whether you want a new job, whether you want to do things on the weekend. It's going to open all sorts of doors, I think. It's always important to keep learning. And that's why you guys really inspire me. So if I had to say, like, what has this course meant for me? It's really been about the inspiration that you guys bring to me. So I just want to thank all of you guys for a wonderful, wonderful course. Thank you for these wonderful comments. They're really touching. I'm glad you guys finally got to meet Dylan in person yesterday, too, by the way. He says hi to everyone. And it's fun. I'm not going to share my email, but I look forward to seeing you guys in Unit 2. So until next time, until we meet again, I hope your data is clean. I hope your models train quickly. And remember, never forget, thank you, thank you, thank you, and happy, happy, happy data science. Bye bye, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend and see you all again soon.